Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Shalom, this is GMS Holland Sit Downs coming back with the lesson. First off and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostle of GMS for teaching us His truth and that rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect out there, spreading this word of sincerity and the truth all over the four corners of the earth. God, today's date is 31 December 2017, the so-called last day of the year. And with that, I wanna, start this series of, and I'm gonna name it biblical proof, biblical proof. By which, I'm gonna study some things that these Edomites digged up, researched, and used their archaeology for, and I'm gonna back it up with the scriptures. So Yaratazar, this will be a good series, and we're gonna go right into it, man. What I want to start off with is, of course, telling you that we as Hebrew Israelites, especially in the times that we walk in now, are supposed to walk by faith, not by sight. Because Yahushua spoke about it. Yahushua said, a wicked generation seeketh after a sign, but there shall be no sign given unto him. So a wicked generation looks for things to see with the eye, but a spiritual man, he will believe without seeing anything. And then you have Esau, which is a man that has no faith whatsoever. Because when you go back to Cain, which Esau is the reincarnation of Cain, you see that the Most High, his face is hid from Esau. I made a video about that a couple days ago. So Esau has no belief, Esau has no faith, Esau has no wisdom, knowledge, understanding given from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father and Yahushai being his son. So what Esau has is, what Esau wants and what Esau requires is proof by sight. That's why Esau researches everything. But that research is what we can do to back up the scriptures. What we can use to back up the scriptures. So this is Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. And this is talking about these so-called white people. The Edomites, according to the Bible, which the word Edom means red, which the red people of the planet Earth are these so-called white people, because they are not white, they are red. So it says that thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee, meaning all the secrets and all the ancient artifacts, all the proof that proves our existence as being Israelites, that prove the existence of the house of David, the nation of Israel, even Yahushai, they dig those things up. They send out their archaeology, their archaeologists, to research the area and to prove if it was true or not, if the event that the Bible describes is true or not. But that's the spirit of Esau. So if you are a man of the Lord, if you claim to be a man of the Lord, and you have the same spirit as Esau, wanting proof of a certain thing by sight, that already shows you that you are probably not gonna make it. Because if you need proof to believe that this World War III is gonna pop off, if you need truth that if you need proof that the nuclear missiles are gonna be shot towards America, then The day that you get that proof that you need to believe, that's when you are too late, man. Because that missile that has been shot comes for your ass, man. You know, and it's too late to start to believe at that time, man. At that moment. So we as being Israelites, we as being men of the Lord, walking the faith, we need to be, um, uh, uh, we need to have this faith without seeing things, man. Like Hebrews chapter 1, 11 and 1 says, Salakia, if things go slow, but you know, it's 2040, you know, and the connection is always already whack because of this fireworks and people calling each other and stuff because of this so-called New Year's Eve. But this is Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So even though we have no evidence, we have faith. We have to have faith. Because if you go into the word belief, what we believe in, it goes back to the word faith. So in order to believe in this truth, you need to have faith. You need to have the will to believe, the will to face the reality of the things that are written in the scriptures, man. You know? So it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So even though we don't see it, our spirit has the evidence because we have faith. We believe in this thing. We believe that this thing is truth. That's enough evidence for us that we believe. But Esau does not have faith. That's why he needs true evidence. He needs proof, so to speak. Like when you go into the word evidence, and see this is fucked up. Hey, alright, things will go fluently.
Strong's G 1650. Elechas.
So that's the word for evidence, meaning a proof, that by which a thing is proved or tested. So our evidence is proved or tested by faith, you know, but Esau needs proof of a literal thing. Now if you go into the online etymology, which the word etymology means the study of the root of words. Etym meaning the root of words, proof, the root of words, and ologio meaning study. So what I was gonna look up is archaeology, because that's what they do, right? That's what they do. They dig up things and they want to have proof whether it's real or not, because Esau does not have faith. So then we go here, alternative spelling, because in Dutch, no, it's not Dutch. So this is the root word, the study of the root word, which etymology means. Archaeology, ancient history, from French archéologie, or directly from Greek archaeologia, the study of ancient things. Archeo plus ology meaning scientific study of ancient peoples and past civilizations. Let's go into the word archeo. before vowels arche, meaning forming element in scientific compounds, meaning ancient, olden, primitive, primeval, from the beginning. So what they do is they trying to dig up proof to show that which is ancient, which archeo means to prove, to study, because lagio means study, to prove it is if the ancient things which are written and which are digged up is true, which are from the beginning. So that's what Esau does, and that's what this scripture represents, that no secret can be hid from him because he digs up everything. Now, going into the first lesson of biblical truth that the first episode of the series that I'm gonna make of biblical proof is gonna be Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. Because Esau did his studies to find out if this thing is true or not. And this is the altar which they found upon Mount Ebal, which is described and written in the scriptures, which a guy named Adam Zertal, which is a chairman from the Depth Archaeology University in Haifa, he did not believe that the altar which they found was an actual altar of the Hebrew Israelites. He did not believe that the Old Testament was based on truth, and whether it was the real word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, whether it was the real words of the Most High. He did not believe that. So he went to Mount Ebal and he researched it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into these couple scriptures that back up all the things that they research upon that mount. So this is the first scripture showing you the law that the Most High has set up for the children of Israel concerning the making of altars. So this is Exodus chapter 20 verse 23. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. Representing images, statues of gold and silver. It's against the law. Verse 24. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep, and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of hewn stone. Keep that in mind. For if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. So, the first thing, hewn stone. So this altar is not allowed to be of hewn stone, meaning a stone that has been crafted by man. Of course, we're gonna look up the word hewn, because that's what we do, man. That's what we do within GMS Great Millstone. We look up words. So the Hebrew word for hewn is chazayat, meaning a cutting, hewing. So cutting up stones, making them able to fit, forming them in the right manner, so that was not allowed. And that's and now you can understand the second part of the verse, which is, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. So if you lift up your tool against those stones, you're going to pollute the altar. So that was against the law. Verse 26, neither shalt thou go up by steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. So the Most High did not want you to make steps, that you have to lift up your legs in a manner, that your nakedness will be discovered. But and the path upon the altar needed to be smooth. So this was the manner by which they had to make this altar. But before we continue and look up how the altar actually looked upon Mount Ebal, there was a thing that happened before, which was in Deuteronomy. Let me see. Deuteronomy chapter 11 verse 29. And it shall come to pass, when Yahweh thy power had brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessings upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Okay, now these are two mountains, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. So Esau knows where Mount Gerizim is and where Mount Ebal is. Let me see if I can grab a good picture. Okay, so here you have a vision of the distance between Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. So there would be a group over here setting up the curses and a group over here setting up the blessings, and they would be able to hear each other. And Esau did not believe that. So of course what Esau did was test it out and see if it's true. See if it is possible for you to stand upon Mount Gerizim and another group on Mount Ebal, and if it is possible to hear each other. Because that's what they had to do. They had to put the blessings upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. So what they did is they went there and they checked out if it is possible for you to hear each other upon those two mountains. And what they found out was that it's possible, man. You see, this is the distance. Shechem is in the midst of those two mountains, and like you see over here, it's around like 4 or 5 kilometers between them. Depending on where on the mountain they would stand, of course, because here you see that it's a quite big mountain, but this is the bottom of the mountain. Like here it's the bottom of the mountain, this would be the top of the mountain where the altar would stand, or here, so basically it could be here in the midst, but it could also be here. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers. So yeah, here you have a better view. I believe this person, this person is standing upon Mount Ebal, and there in the far end you see Mount Gerizim. So this gives you a picture of the distance between those two mountains. So back to the scripture, which says, Deuteronomy 11 and 29, and it shall come to pass, when Yahweh thy power had brought thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim and the curse upon Mount Ebal. So that was being done, and they did hear each other. They did hear each other, and Esau checked it out, of course. And what they found out was this: a natural amphitheater. A natural amphitheater. This valley formed a natural amphitheater. A speaker's voice could be heard on both hillsides. Likewise, the shouts of a crowd of Gerizim could be heard on Ebal and vice versa. Like I said, Shechem is in the midst, Mount Gerizim is there, and Mount Ebal is there. So Esau had to look it up, man. And like I said, that guy Adam Zertal, he was the guy that did not believe it and went over there with his archaeologists and checked it out if it was true. So if you want to know more about that, just check out Adam Zertal's research concerning Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim and the altar. You will probably find it. So a natural amphitheater. Now if you check out what an amphitheater is, that word goes back to the Greek, which amphi means on double sides, and theater, means what it means. An open air venue used for entertainment, performances. So back in those days, they did not have microphones. They did not have speakers. So what they did was they built the theater in this manner that sound would be amplified by hitting certain walls into certain directions and spreading the sound within the theater. It has been said that in theaters like this, like the Colosseum, which you can find all over the place in Rome and in Greece, in Italy, that if you drop a coin while it is silent, if you drop a coin in the midst, that the whole theater can hear it, because it is built in this way that it amplifies sound, So, like I said, amphi meaning both sides or around, theater meaning place for viewing. Ancient Roman, yeah, this is basically this goes into their theaters. But then here, when you check it out, it says natural amphitheaters. Now, what's a natural amphitheater? A natural amphitheater is a performance space located in a spot where a steep mountain or a particular rock formation naturally amplifies or echoes sound, making it ideal for musical and theatrical performances. And an amphitheater can be naturally occurring formations which would be ideal for this purpose, even if no theater has been constructed there. So it's not no coincidence that the Most High chose these mountains, Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, because these two mountains are natural amplifiers. Like it says, the sound echoes because the mountains are set up in this formation that you are able to hear shoutings and voices from that mountain to that mountain because of the way that it's set up. And the Most High set it up like this. That's why the Most High set up the people that was gonna put up the blessings over here, and people that was gonna put up the curses over here. Because the Most High knew that this effect would be created. So that's the thing that happened, man. And he found out that, hey, that's the truth. You are able to hear each other from, let me see, from here to here. which I believe this is more than 5 kilometers, man. But okay, you know, Esau did his research. So, moving on, this is Deuteronomy chapter 27 verse 4. Therefore it shall be, when ye be gone over Jordan, that ye shall set up these stones, which I command you this day in Mount Ebal, and thou shalt plaster them with plaster. And there shalt thou build an altar unto Yahweh thy power, an altar of stones. Thou shalt not lift up any iron upon them. Thou shalt build the altar of Yahweh thy power of whole stones, and thou shalt offer burnt offerings thereon unto Yahweh thy power. And thou shalt offer peace offerings, and shalt eat there, and rejoice before Yahweh thy power. And thou shalt write upon these stones all the words of the law very plainly. You know, so that was the commandment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that was already given in the time of Moses. So that when Joshua came into that place, that this thing, what was prophesied and commanded, had to come to pass. So when Joshua came there, he did what was being commanded. Joshua chapter 8 verse 30. Then Joshua built an altar unto Yahweh the Most High of Israel in Mount Ebal. And Moses the servant of Yahweh commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, which we just read. This is the way how you're supposed to make an altar. This is what they had to do when they came into the land. Stand upon these mountains and do the blessings and the curses. This was the commandment of the Most High through Moses concerning building the altar. And this was when they came into onto that place, and they was ready to make the altars. So like it says, verse 31, as Moses the servant of the Most High Yahweh commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the law of Moses, an altar of whole stones, over which no man had lifted up any iron. And they offered thereon burnt offerings unto Yahweh, and sacrificed peace offerings. And he wrote there upon the stones a copy of the law of Moses, which he wrote in the presence of the children of Israel. And all Israel, and their elders, and officers, and their judges stood on this side the ark, and on that side before the priests the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, as well the stranger as he that was born among them, half of them over against Mount Gerizim, and half of them over against Mount Ebal. And Moses the servant of Yahweh had commanded before that they should bless the people of Israel. So these things happened, and Esau of course did his research and checked out of the whether the altar that was upon Mount Ebal was an altar of first of all, of course, he went to check out if it was a real altar and not just a pile of stones, because this dude Adam Zertal, he said like, yeah, it's probably an old farm. And then you had archaeologists that said you know, it was a watchtower. But then if you go into the structure by which the altar had to be made by the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it lines up exactly with what is being shown here. So when we take a look at the altar, you can see that these stones are not hewn. Not a tool has been brought upon it. We can see that the way towards the altar does not have steps, but it's straight. We can see that the stones are how they were, man. You know, because if they were hewn, it would have been straight up stones, and they would have they would all have the same measurements, but they do not. Certain have are bigger than other ones. You know, certain ones are smaller. You know, and then they had to plaster it, meaning smoothen it out, which we can see that happened too, because this is being made smooth, like you see over here. You know, like we see over here, it has been smoothed out. Like when you build a house and you are a mason, you smooth out the cement before you put another rock. Before you put another rock, you smooth it out. You plaster it. So that's what was being done upon Mount Ebal, and it's clear to see that this is the altar which Joshua made with the Israelites. It's clear to see. But of course, Esau does not have that faith. So he went there and he researched it, and they even broke open. Uh, they broke up the altar in the midst of it, and the remains of ashes that they found went to the I got it to the laboratory, and they researched it, what the materials were that they found over there. You know, so Esau brought their research to yeah, that's it. You know, the fireworks makes the whole connection to fuck up. So Esau brought their research to their laboratory, and this is what they found out, man. Altar was full of bones and ashes. Like I said, they broke up the altar in the midst, and they digged, and they found ash. They found bones and ashes. Department of Zoology at Hebrew University examined 942 bones, 50 to 100 individuals, sheep, goats, bulls, and not only that, but they was probably, you know how Esau says it, they was estimated to be 1 year old males, which is the way how we supposed to sacrifice, how we had to sacrifice these animals, sheep, goats, and bullocks, like it says in the scriptures, bullocks, upon that altar. Like we read, I believe we read it over here. Let me see. Exodus 20 and 24. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep, and thine oxen. And if we go into the book of Leviticus, we can see that goats were also a sacrificial animal. You know, even doves. You know, but these were the main things that they found. It was sheep, oxen. So like they said over here, like they said over here, bulls, goats, and sheep of 1 year old males. You know, so they researched it, man, and eventually this guy, Adam Zertal, he confessed, man. He said, like, look, this is the guy. Adam Zertal, a grimy ass Amalekite without faith. You know, he went over there and he was like, yeah, okay, you know, this is like true evidence. And he even said, if 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 um if the thing that we find out about the altar and the mountains is to be true, then we as being depth archaeology, researches of the University of Haifa, we have to go back to the kindergarten, because that means that the whole research that they did for years can go into the trash can. You know, he said it himself, and then when he found out the things, he said the Old Testament is based on truth, you know, which we believe by faith, but Esau does not walk by faith, and that's why they had to do these things, you know. And before, I actually wanted to speak upon this thing too, that if you want to check out another video concerning ancient artifacts, me and a brother from the GMS Holland camp went to the Louvre Museum, and we went to check out the Moabite Stone, which is an ancient artifact of the ancient Moabites, today known as
the power of his God,
today known as the Chinese people, whereon the king of Moab, called Masha, described his victory against the house of David, and defeated the power of Israel, whose name is Yahweh. You know, so if you are interested in that, you can check this out too. You know, just type in GMS in Paris, and multiple brothers have posted this video upon their channel. So with that, I want to say Kal Alayim Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. You know, this was the first episode of Biblical Proof. Shalom.